Well, Chris Smith made one of the biggest plays in Georgia's 2021 season when he took it to the house against Clemson and DJ Ugalele. We actually talk about this in the book, and I'm going to talk about what Chris said in a second. This one of these graphics right here. Make sure you're picking up the book before I have to order another set of them. Oh, there's your boy Christopher Smith, taking off to the house. We talk about this in the book a lot. N'Kobe Dean pressuring there, Latavius Brini, Keely Ringo. This group would make a lot of important plays. But I mean, if there was a more important play than that this year, there's a few candidates for that. But Chris this week, make sure you pick up DAWGSTRUCTION. The links down below. Chris this week had this to say when talking about 2021 and 2022. He says, when you think about it, it's hard to forget last year. It was a pretty special year. We did a lot of special things, but we know we got to be able to look forward and on to the next because nothing that we did last year is going to carry us this year. We have to put in the same work that we put in last year to build the chemistry, just like we had with those guys last year. We lost a lot, but we gained a lot of great players and stuff like that. So we have to be able to just mesh and come together and be able to do what we did last year. Yeah, totally. And talking about a guy who's entering his final season of college football, a guy from South Atlanta, Hateville Charter, went down there to see him when he was in high school. Was you know was an afterthought after a while, just straight up at Georgia, and he was an afterthought until he started playing because somebody got hurt. Richard LeCount got hurt, and here comes Chris Smith playing really well. I mean, he played really well. Chris Smith didn't play a lot in 2020. Keely Ringo didn't play a lot in 2020. They both became really important parts of the puzzle in 2021. And what Chris is talking about right here, it's all I understand it's coach speak, but it's important to look forward. It's important to know um, that last year gets you nothing. But it's this part about the chemistry that's so critical. If they can develop that same type of chemistry with Zion Logue, Mikel Sherman, Keely Ringo, William Poole, guys like that, that gets them a long way. I mean, that is something that those guys have talked about a lot. I mean, Jordan, uh, Trayvon Walker, they have all had a lot to say about skull sessions, and maybe that's something that they're talking about because those of us in the media can barely walk and tie our shoes at the same time. But I do think the camaraderie in the team was really important this season, this past season, and it will be important moving forward. I mean, you have a lot of this secondary coming back. You know they're losing. In a way, they're losing fewer parts than they did a season ago. I mean, I don't think there's going to be two guys from Georgia's secondary that are going to be drafted in the top 33. Like that's probably not going to happen. And so you're losing out on DK. He's gone. Lewis Cine, he's gone. So there's a chance that two guys could get drafted pretty high. Top 33, I don't know. And then you also lost Richard LeCount going out of 2020. And this group now, I mean, you've got a lot of guys that did not play, excuse me, that did not play at all in 20, that played a lot in 21. Ringo, Poole, Chris Smith, even though he did, Jackson, those four guys alone all come back. You lose DK, that's going to matter for sure. Kendrick was a guy that they could depend on, particularly against teams that were not that great, okay? They could depend on DK to just, really slow down the other side of the field. But, you know, how tight are these guys? Does that matter? I mean, it matters to Chris. He brought that up without being prompted by one of us. I mean, he just said it. And it will depend on how you can integrate the guys that have not played a ton that are coming back. Linebacker might be the spot where it's going to have to kind of get right, and you're going to have to figure out what you're doing in the middle there. And you've had some hellified leaders at that spot, from Roquan to Monty to Nakobe. I mean, boom, boom, boom. Do you have that from these linebackers? That's a big question mark that has to be answered. They are gifted. I'm going to tell you that right now. That is for sure. But do they have the? I mean, the people won't stop talking about Nakobe's leadership. You talked about, Nakobe was a Arthur Ashe finalist or award winner. That's a big deal too. So a guy with that sort of gravitas playing in the middle of your defense, and the fact that he is as fast as lightning and makes plays, those things all add up. Monty Rice wasn't fast as lightning. Monty Rice was an awesome linebacker. Can they replicate Monty there? Because Monty was the shit to me. I loved him. I thought he was a great player. No, he was not a first 3 round guy or whatever, but he was spectacular for Georgia, and he really taught a lot of people how to play. And it's going to be up to Chris and William Poole, these guys that were in a way afterthoughts because they didn't immediately come on and play. They weren't 5-star guys. They were, guys that had to be developed. Jackson's not different. So, you know, this team moving forward, it's going to have a lot to do with how they mesh together as a group. It does matter. I mean, you would prefer that your teammates be your friends. It doesn't always work out that way. There are guys you play with that, I mean, it's not like you don't like them, but they're just not, they're a lot older than you are, or they're quiet, or they're better and they don't want to deal with you. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happens on teams, and when you're fighting for one another, that does seem to make a pretty big difference in the grand scheme of things. I mean, it may have made the difference to Georgia winning the national championship this past year and having moments like this. Make sure you pick up DAWGSTRUCTION down below. That's what guys like Chris Smith are saying. I mean, I think you have to take them at their word. If you're saying, hey, the closeness of this team matters, Chris Smith matters a lot. What he and the older guys have gone through to get the ring, they're going to have to replicate that and teach that to everyone else. Monty Rice taught that to people. He didn't get a ring, but he taught it to people. Hey, thanks for watching. Check out DAWGSTRUCTION down below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the website.